Hi, everybody. Welcome to WCA Extra. It's our live desk kicking off just before 9:15 right now. A bit of a shakeup in Bradford. It's the Bradford Fire Department. A lot of resignations early this week. Wanted to loop in our Adam Sullivan there, who covered the story. Adam, thanks for being here. And jumping right into this, we got word of this a couple days ago. We spoke to the chief, and now some things have changed. As far as we hear from the town. So kind of fill me in on the history of where things are today.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that, this didn't happen overnight. The town has been sort of reviewing the policies around the police department and how it's run over there for several years, as we found out yesterday. But essentially, this latest development got started last week when the longtime chief of 12 years was informed by the select board that he would not be staying on in that role. The select board chairwoman asked the chief if he wanted to inform his crew. He said yes. So the chief held a meeting Tuesday night. At that meeting, he essentially thanked the town and his members for their service, and then resigned. And then along with him, the majority of the department resigned as well. I think it was 10 of the 14 members. The chief was sort of feeling, when I talked to him about the meeting coming up Tuesday night, the chief was sort of feeling burned, I guess is the right way to put it.
Yeah.
He said he was given essentially no notice from the town that he would not be staying on in that role. He's been chief for 12 years, and he said not only was he given no notice, he was given no real clear reason either. So that was the reason he resigned, and obviously, out of loyalty, several or the majority of his department resigned as well.
Yeah, and now now goes back. They're trying to go, or the town, is now trying to go to a 3-year model for chief, right?
Yeah, that's right. So the town. So after the mass resignations Tuesday night, the town called an emergency meeting. They immediately appointed a new interim fire chief who, coincidentally, is one of the 4 who stayed on. Mm-hmm. So that person, Tony Stockman, I believe his name is, he is being elevated to chief in an interim role while the town shifts. It's not just the 3-year model for the chief, which they're doing, they say, to try to attract more people to the force and keep things fresh within the department. But it all comes as the town is trying to sort of shift the role of the fire emergency response in the town to a more town model. Right now it's run by an corporation, formerly it was run by a corporation last week. But the town is shifting that more towards a town-run operation where the volunteers, they'll still remain volunteers, but they'll essentially become employees of the town. They'll be paid per call as they currently were. But the town will have more oversight. They'll have more responsibility when it comes to checking equipment, inspections, training, that sort of thing. And that's essentially the crux behind this whole thing. The town wants more control. The firefighters who have been on the force for decades. I mean, we're talking. I think one of the longest members was like 50 years. So they've always had the control. So there's a bit of a power struggle there too behind the scenes, I think, as well.
No, absolutely. And is this any indication that they will eventually move to a paid force, or is that too early to tell?
No, not at this time. Okay. It will remain a volunteer force. Essentially, the only big difference is this shift to more a town model, as they call it, yeah. Where the town will have more control, and the firefighters will essentially, while still being volunteer, they will report directly to the town, as opposed to sort of running their own show as it's been for decades.
No, absolutely. And now on the community side too, you talk to a couple of people. I mean, what are they saying now that they're the fire department of 14, right around there, and then now it's down to just a few people?
The community is obviously concerned.
Yeah.
And I asked the select board chairwoman on Wednesday when she held an emergency press conference after their emergency meeting to name the new interim chief. I asked them, what's the message to the community? And she said, the town does have a fire department. They do have a chief. They do have 4 members, which, many will say that's very inadequate for proper emergency coverage. But also there's mutual aid involved. But just the perception of the majority of a department, especially a fire department, leaving abruptly is a cause for concern. I mean, it's startling, for one. It's a big change. And also, people who own houses in Bradford, people who own businesses on Main Street, they want to know if a fire breaks out, is there going to be timely response? And I think it's fair to say with only a 4-member force that response will be somewhat inhibited, right? I think that's fair to say. But at the same time, volunteer departments in the past, historically, they do rely on mutual aid. Like, for instance, if a fire happens in Bradford, Hartford, which runs a full-time department, they would likely respond if it was big enough. Hartford's 25 minutes away to the south, but they would be getting back up regardless. That's just how volunteer departments work. But there is concern from the perception of it all, from the abrupt nature of it all, and just from hey, can 4 guys really provide the coverage that the town needs? And
I also think it's especially a peace of mind. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If mutual aid, that's great. But I mean, in the back of your head, it's like it'd be nice to know that there's, I think a lot of people would think it's nice to know that there's still a force there that can help them out. But,
right. And just to reiterate, the town says that the town officials say residents should have peace of mind. They should have peace of mind. The equipment's there. The remaining volunteers are there. They're ready to respond. So it's not like there is no emergency services in Bradford. They have a police department as well, and they have the neighboring departments that are ready to help. So the town says, people should be comfortable or at least know that there is a response ready. However, many say that response is likely not up to what they're hoping the town will have in the long run.
No, absolutely. Well, Adam, thanks for hopping on, and we'll show that story in just a sec. But I know this has been kind of developing over the last couple days. I think we even had the update when we first got the press release today at noon, and then from the morning show too. So it's been kind of building a little bit. But
and you'll see from the video or from the story you're about to play, John. We also have video that was sent into us from the meeting Tuesday night when the firefighters resigned as well.
No, absolutely. Adam, thanks so much for hopping on. We'll play that in just
yeah. Great to see you as always.
Good to see you. Have a good one. That was Adam Sullivan there talking about the Bradford Fire Department, it's a volunteer department, losing a good deal of their force there. So we'll pull that up in just a sec.
Mornings are usually fairly quiet on Main Street in Bradford, but Tuesday night, alarm bells for the town's emergency response rang out at the fire station.
And they have treated us like dirt.
One by one, 10 of the 14 members of Bradford's volunteer fire department announced their resignation.
Naturally, I would like to know why they all felt that was necessary.
Last week, after 12 years as fire chief, Ryan Terrell was told by the select board that he would not be staying on in the chief's role. He says he was given no warning nor a reason. Terrell was the first to resign, and the others followed suit.
I was definitely concerned that we don't have enough firemen on staff here in town.
At this point, the Bradford Fire Department is ready and willing to respond to calls as they come in.
The town select board held an emergency meeting Wednesday morning and appointed an interim chief. At a press conference later in the day, the select board chairwoman told members of the media that the town is working to have more oversight of the volunteer department and highlighted issues that need to be fixed.
Communication issues, inadequate training, meeting required standards for equipment and record keeping.
Moving forward, the town is looking to name a new chief every 3 years to, among other things, improve recruitment. Town officials say it's all being done to make the department better.
More training, more qualified instructors, better equipment.
Bradford will continue to rely on mutual aid to fill response gaps as it works to build up staffing levels.
I'm hopeful that we could have the volunteer fire departments from the surrounding regions cover the gap, but I don't want them to have to do that long term.
Again, it's good work there from our Adam Sullivan. Jeez. You can see all that on WCAX.com. But Peter, looking outside now, we've had some nice spring weather, and I know we got some rain. I think the thing is, especially our 20th weekend, right?
Yep.
20th, 21st,
20th.
in a row
Yep.
that we have rain. But again, it's May. It's going to start. Everything will start budding.
We're already getting there.
And that's what I mean. It's all much greener out now.
It's getting a whole lot greener out there. I noticed looking out the window of my apartment building yesterday, even some of the trees starting to get a lot of buds on them. Well, actually, some flowers out there even. So,
Yeah.
you know what? Some surefire signs of spring there. But it also does come along with some more rain showers. Again, wish the timing was better. We've gotten kind of accustomed to these somewhat crummy weekends, and it does look like, unfortunately, we could have a little bit more of that here as we head into the next weekend. For now, though, all is pretty quiet weather-wise here. A few clouds off to the south. Otherwise, though, a lot of us talking a good deal of sunshine out there. Temperatures here for the day. Right now, most of us sitting in the 40s. We're climbing from the 20s and 30s here where we started off earlier this morning. And most of us going to climb back into the 60s and potentially even a few lower 70s here off to the south come this afternoon. And it's going to be a good deal of sunshine out there today as well. A few more clouds starting to enter the picture across New York's North Country, especially as we head towards later this evening. Otherwise, though, those clouds taking a little bit more time to make their arrival onto the Vermont side of things. Clouds giving way to a few rain showers late tonight and into the early morning hours tomorrow. For the most part, it does look like the bulk of this rain wraps up here as we head towards daybreak tomorrow morning. Still potentially a few leftover light rain showers out across the Northeast Kingdom as well as northern New Hampshire, Coos County in particular there, but rain showers wrapping up tomorrow. Actually, I think we find a little bit of a few breaks of sunshine here and there. Notice this is 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But one thing that those few breaks of sunshine does is it kind of helps to destabilize the atmosphere just a little bit. That means we could see some showers, some potential thunderstorms, kind of bubbling up, kind of here and there in nature through the second half of the day for your day on Friday. Not everybody sees those rain showers. Not everybody sees those rumbles of thunder. Kind of hit or miss in nature and something that we'll be watching here through the second half of the day tomorrow. Temperature-wise, though, through the rest of the day today, most of us back into the mid and upper 60s, some places off to the south, the upper valley, right along that Massachusetts state line, pretty close to that 70-degree mark. Tonight, overnight lows, they'll fall back into the 40s and 50s out there. The clouds and a few rain showers, those are helping to keep us a bit warmer here through the night tonight. It's not the 20s and 30s that we woke up to this morning, and through the rest of your day on Friday, we're looking pretty warm out there. Most of us back into the 70s. You can kind of see some of that rain-cooled air having a little bit of an impact on that Burlington temperature here, but again, most of us going to be talking 70s and even some lower 80s here off to the south for daytime highs tomorrow. A few leftover light rain showers tomorrow morning, but then I think we find a few sunny breaks here through midday. Those sunny breaks could potentially cause a few showers and thunderstorms to, again, kind of bubble up here and there in nature through the second half of the day on Friday. 7-day forecast shows at least a few showers probably continuing here into the first half of the weekend. Right now, there's a kind of a battle setting up this weekend. We got low pressure off to our south across southern New England, high pressure off to the north. Which one wins out? Will it be the high pressure that keeps us dry? Will it be the low pressure that brings in a few rain showers? If it's the low pressure, we could probably see a few rain showers Saturday, Sunday, Monday, even into midweek next week. If it's the high pressure, then optimistically, we can probably find a good amount of dry time here for Sunday and Monday and really through midweek. That's something that we're going to be probably watching closely here over the next 24 hours. Then we'll get a better idea on just how damp the weekend is looking. But for now, optimistic and saying Sunday primarily dry, probably a few rain showers here and there, especially Saturday afternoon and evening.
All you can do is hope.
Exactly.
We need hope, Peter. No, I think at the end of the day, too, is a little bit of rain. I think a lot of people are going to be out Saturday, green up day, and hopefully that rain doesn't stop.
You know what? And I think there's plenty of dry time Saturday, especially through the first half of the day.
I think we'll shape up just fine.
Yeah.
So thank you, Peter. I think that's for us here on WCAX. Peter is going to scamper home.
I don't know about that.
Peter all at his house in black on Channel 3 News at noon. And you can see all of our content on WCAX.com. And, of course, evening shows as well. So, a lot of fun. Thanks, Peter.